Hi everybody, following my previous video on safety rating in iRacing, I decided this time to focus on iRating. Today we're going to cover what iRating is in iRacing, how it works, and ultimately how you can go about increasing it. iRating is the iRacing's key ranking system for its drivers. In theory, if you compare one driver's iRating to another, you can roughly say this driver is better than that driver. Where iRating really matters is in how iRacing does its matchmaking for races. So you are in theory being matched with drivers that are similar iRating to you, and thus always have competitive close racing, whatever your skill level. In iRacing, when you compete in any race, if you have enough people participating at that given time slot, it will literally split the event into different races, which are called splits. All these splits or races are all happening at the same time and go down split by split based on the ranking of the drivers in each. You may sometimes hear the term top split. This refers to the highest split at the given race time slot, where the top ranked drivers are competing. This will often be the split of a race that gets broadcasted for big events. The drivers are often very good, and that is reflected in their high iRating. As you then go down each split, you will see the driver's iRating going down, and thus the drivers are likely not to be as fast, competitive, or consistent as the higher splits. You can often see how hard a split is by looking at the SOF, or strength of field, which takes the average of all the races iRating in that split. One of the biggest pros of this system is that it shouldn't matter what your level of skill is, you can always find a race that is fun and competitive, whatever your level. Even if you're a rookie, brand new to iRacing, you have the chance to potentially win a race at your level. Similar to this, the people who are high skilled are going to be matched with high skilled drivers, and so will have a really competitive race too. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of this system is that the people in the bottom or lower splits will often have drivers that are so low skilled they're not consistent, and they often make mistakes and even crash. It may not be your fault, but one of these drivers might involve you in one of their crashes, which causes you to come last, and therefore your safety rating and iRating might go lower. Another big con of the system is that some people focus too much on this number. A player who plays all the time, practices a lot, farms iRating, and only competes in races that they know they can win will end up with a very high iRating. But actually another driver who plays a little bit more casually and just drops into a race now and then, but is as fast as that driver, will end up with a much lower iRating. Due to this matchmaking system, once you get to a high level of iRating, where you'll generally end up in the top split, if you haven't practiced a lot and ensured that you're really on the pace before you race, you'll likely come low down the split and your iRating will go down. This can actually make it less appealing to race once your iRating goes up, as it becomes too much of a time sink, and basically you don't want to lose any of your hard-earned iRating having a race. One common mistake new players make is to think iRating and safety rating are the same or are linked. Safety rating is only about how safe you drive and how many incidents per corner you have. iRating has nothing to do with safety rating and is only related to what position you finish in a race compared to the other drivers you are competing with. When you join an official race, as we discussed earlier, you'll get placed into a split of a race based on your current iRating. You can see your car number in that race, and that often reflects how high you rank within the race compared to others. So if you're the highest iRating player in a given race, you will be car number 1, and it will go down from there. The amount of iRating you will gain or lose per position will be based on your finishing position and your iRating compared to others. If you join a race with a really high strength of field and you're the lowest ranked driver in that race, even finishing in the mid-pack will give you a nice boost in iRating. If, however, you are the top ranked driver in this race, you will find that finishing anywhere other than the top spot will result in a loss of iRating. This is why being involved in a crash in a race like this can be extremely damaging, You may be the fastest driver out there, but you'll lose the most iRating if something goes wrong. Each driver starts with an iRating of 1350. If they finish high in a race, this will go up. If they finish low in their race, this will go down. As discussed earlier in this video, due to being matched with low iRating drivers initially, you can often get a bit stuck in the lower splits due to other drivers making mistakes and even hitting you. Since initially you'll be stuck in the rookie class too, it may be a bit of a double-edged sword. As in my safety rating video, my recommendation is to not focus on iRating too much initially, get your safety rating up, and get out of the rookies onto cleaner racing in other series. Then you can focus on improving the iRating. Safety rating is what determines which races you can compete in, not iRating. So to make iRacing more enjoyable, it's definitely worth focusing on the safety rating first and letting your iRating drop initially. Since that will be matching you with slower drivers later, you should then easily be able to win the races and have your iRating bounce back pretty fast. So, the best way to increase iRating is to win races and not compete in races that you'll do badly in. That's the really simple explanation, but how can you actually focus on that? The first thing to do is only race when you are fast enough to finish high up in a given split. You can take a look at races that have already raced, and it's worth looking at the lap times people are doing and comparing that to what you are able to do in a practice session. One of the best ways to finish high up in a race is to actually qualify high up. So you'll want to practice and practice until your lap times match the top people in your given split. You'll also want to make sure you're driving really consistently and make no mistakes. Finishing last will cause a massive fall in iRating. Once you're happy with this, you can then compete in a race and hopefully get a good result. The other aspect of this is to find a car and track combination and learn it well. If you constantly change the car and the series you drive in, you have to keep learning that car on a different track combination. If you stick to one car and learn it well, you'll be able to get up to speed so much faster. You can also then look at the series schedule and see what tracks are coming up and practice or even get a setup before the series changes track on a Tuesday. If you can already be up to speed on a given track when it changes in the series, you can probably have quite a jump on the other guys that are starting on that track today. The final bit is once your iRating starts rising higher, don't race in races with low amounts of participation or low strengths of field. If you are ranked number 1 on the server, you're risking losing a lot of iRating for not much chance of gain. So in conclusion, we've covered what the iRating is and how to increase it, but really, does it matter? I found that I've actually enjoyed iRacing more when I don't care about my iRating. I just jump into a race, race it, and if it goes up or down, I don't care and I just have fun. There are some drivers out there that have 2 accounts, one for fun and one they literally only race in races they think their iRating will go up in, and thus they preserve their really high iRating. I understand why they do this, as in a way it guarantees them to get into the big broadcasted or esports events, where only the top split can compete. But at the same time, for the average player, it's probably not worth caring too much about it and just enjoy the racing. So, I hope this has helped people who didn't really understand what it meant and how it worked. If this has helped you, please like and subscribe, and I'll make more videos like this in the future. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.